Hi, I'm Sarah,
And I'm Zainab.
and today we will be presenting on our paper, Machine and Human Understanding of Empathy in Online Peer Support, a Cognitive Behavioral Approach, on behalf of ourselves and our colleagues, Amy Xiao and Jeff Huang at Brown University. In the United States, more than 50% of adults with mental illnesses do not receive mental health services. This is due to barriers like high treatment costs, stigma, and lack of trained professionals. As a result, individuals are turning to solutions like online peer support to provide a space to connect with others and seek support. Online peer support is a scalable solution for reducing treatment costs, stigma, and wait time. Peers have shown a strong interest in learning peer counseling skills online to provide each other with emotional support, signaling an important unmet demand for guidance. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is one such structure that has been found to be a format peers can learn and follow. Our research examines online CBT-based peer support systems in the hopes of increasing the efficacy of this scalable solution to the mental health crisis. While there are various formats for online peer support groups, including face-to-face settings, video conferencing, and voice only, our research focuses on text-based formats, as there has been increasing adoption of text-only solutions. This may be in part due to the fact that certain attributes of texting can help reduce feelings of social anxiety and inhibition. However, studies have found that highly empathetic support on these platforms can be rare. The lack of empathy on these platforms is particularly concerning, as empathy is a necessary component for success and support. Specifically, it is necessary that the support seeker feels that the support provider has empathy for them. In CBT, empathy is defined as how well the peer can go into the client's world and see and experience life the way the client does. And we will continue to use this as the definition of empathy throughout this presentation. Conveying empathy in text-based spaces may be particularly challenging due to the lack of body language and tone. Some previous work has tried to solve this issue of a lack of online empathy from peers by focusing on computational approaches for measuring and suggesting ways to increase empathy in text. Other approaches have tried to provide a machine in the loop to encourage high empathy from support providers. Our research seeks to answer two main questions. The first, what are the underlying factors that contributes to support seekers' perceived empathy in CBT-based peer support sessions? And secondly, how is the support seeker experience reflected in a state-of-the-art approach to automatically measuring empathy, and are the above underlying factors captured? To answer our questions, we collected data from an online text-based peer support platform called Cheeseburger Therapy. The platform allows users to sign up for a 1-hour session to receive peer support. From here on out, these individuals seeking help will be referred to as thinkers. The platform also allows individuals to sign up to become a peer supporter. From here on out, we will refer to the peer support provider as helpers. To become a helper, users must go through a training model where they learn the basics of cognitive behavioral therapy and the structure to follow throughout the hour-long texting sessions. The service does not make any diagnostics claims and only provides peer support. Our dataset consists of 116 CBT-based sessions that took place from November 2021 through May 2022. Of the 116 sessions, 16 were client sessions, sessions in which the helper had completed the CBT-based training program and the thinker could be any user. The remaining 100 sessions were buddy sessions, sessions in which two peers in training conduct a session together in which one acts as the thinker and the other as the helper. Thinkers are encouraged to think of a troubling situation that is personally affecting them, so that the session is authentic and not a role-playing scenario. Helpers use the CBT-based methodology as they would if they were conducting a client session. From each session, we also collected post-session feedback from both the thinker and the helper. Helpers are taught to follow some basic principles of CBT, including the main concept that thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all intertwined. This includes skills like active listening and restatements to validate users. For instance, when a session begins, the helper tries to find out if the user has something troubling to talk about by asking, "What's on your mind today?" The peer uses a technique called open-ended questions to let the user express what is on their mind. After the thinker has shared what's been troubling with them, the peer is taught to reply back using techniques like restatements to confirm their understanding of what the thinker has shared, and further use of open-ended questions to better understand the thinker's situation. The goal of the session is to go through the process of cognitive restructuring. This process involves the helper aiding the thinker in identifying an unhelpful thought and replacing it with a thought that may be more helpful in acceptance or peace towards their situation. For instance, in this case, the old thought was, I don't have any ability to plan or focus. I am not good enough. And it is replaced by the thought, new things take time, especially big things like planning. I am learning and growing. I allow myself to do things at my own pace. Using this data, we conducted a mixed method analysis. We first conducted a qualitative content analysis to answer our first research question and to understand factors that led to thinkers feeling or not feeling empathy. Next, we applied a computational approach called epitome to measure empathy and analyzed how these measurements captured said factors. For the qualitative content analysis, we examined feedback from 100 sessions. We divided sessions based on low perceived empathy and high perceived empathy. 85% of sessions were categorized as high empathy. This was sessions in which the thinker identified as having felt heard and understood. 15% of sessions were categorized as low empathy, in which the thinker did not identify as having felt heard and understood. For our quantitative analysis, we applied a published deep learning model called Epitome to measure empathy in each session. To the best of our knowledge, it is the only automated approach that measures empathy exclusively from text and measures situational empathy. That is, it takes into perspective both the person receiving and the person providing support. While other research has employed components of the epitome model to measure empathy, there has been a lack of in-depth research regarding understanding how text-based empathy scores relate to the experience of a person seeking support. Epitome takes as input the text from both peers and calculates the empathy level in a provider's response to a user's initial text. The generated empathy score measures 3 components of empathy: emotional reactions, interpretations, and explorations. Each of these 3 categories are scored either 0, no communication, 1, weak communication, or 2, strong communication, relaying the great extent to which peers conveyed the communication method in their reply.
So moving on to results, our findings showed that strong emotional validation is a key factor in high perceived empathy in peer support platforms. For instance, one peer commented how just a few I hear you, I can imagine, I see you really care, this must be really difficult for you type of phrases go a long way. Additionally, many users noted that going through the process of cognitive restructuring and creating a new thought was beneficial for them. However, over-reliance on CBT tools was found to foster a disconnect between the support providers and support seekers. Specifically, thinkers noted that the overuse of open-ended questions made users perceive low empathy, with peers stating, a lot of questions can sometimes get you in more headspace and less connected to the feelings. The negative impact of using open-ended questions was further highlighted by our quantitative analysis. We saw that higher epitome exploration scores were correlated lower overall feedback scores provided by the thinker in the post-session data. We also found that a negative correlation between epitome exploration scores and thinkers indicating that they felt heard and understood. For key takeaways, we found that CBT techniques like active listening and reflective restatements, along with the fostering a space for exploration and cognitive restructuring, that is, replacing old and helpful thoughts with new ones, contributes to users' high perceived empathy. Whereas rigid adherence to structure and overuse of techniques can make it difficult for users to connect and contribute to low perceived empathy. We also reported on the challenges of quantifying empathy in our work. Previously, we saw that while 85% thinkers reported high perceived empathy at the end of the session, epitome models reported that peers have low average empathy, that is 1.6 out of 6. This is because deep learning models tend to focus on the perfect sentence structure for high empathy and can ignore subtle human connection. For example, give me a moment to read through what you have shared. A response from a helper would receive a 0 on all subscales. However, it does show that the helper is emotionally attentive and has the intention to understand what the thinker shared, implying an active interest in the seeker. And for that reason, we thought it conveyed a 1 on the interpretation scale, as opposed to epitome scores, which gave it a 0. Another example, sentence like, I welcome you to be honest with me here if there's something you want to open up about, while not asking direct questions to the thinker related to the user's feeling or situation, shows the helper's intent to continue exploring and encourage the safe space. For this reason, we gave it a 1 on an exploration. So for the implications of our work, we found that algorithmic approaches to quantifying empathy can fail to capture nuance and human perspective. There are challenges with determining an adequate rubric for measuring empathy and creating training data set that encompasses all scenarios in which empathy may be conveyed. Empathy is more than sentence rewriting, which computational approaches tend to prioritize, calling for a more comprehensive approach that measures empathy in a multifaceted manner, rather than simplifying it into a one-dimensional score. Think about it. Empathy is not a perfect sentence. It's connection and presence as well. Prior literature has examined this presence and how to increase this presence in text-based communication, such as through real-time text, implying that the design of peer support spaces holds a lot of value in helping individuals connect, share, and communicate more. This implies that perceived empathy extends beyond the mere act of rewriting, as it encompasses various facets, including the design of these spaces. Increasing empathy involves the consideration of how we design these text-based mental health platforms to facilitate nonverbal communication. Lastly, we call on future work to develop more human-centered metrics for measuring empathy and establish a framework for selecting these metrics. We also acknowledge that cultural factors may affect different users' perception of empathy. Future work should investigate the perception of text-based empathy with respect to different user groups in order to provide a fuller understanding of text-based empathy. So, to summarize, in this paper, we evaluated human and machine perceptions of empathy within ICBT-based peer support conversations. Through a mixed methods analysis of deep learning models and session feedback, we found that CBT techniques like active listening and reflective restatements contribute to support seekers' perceived empathy. However, rigid adherence to the method can have opposite results. Our findings also reveal that while a majority of support seekers report experience high empathy across the sessions, computational models on average rate empathy lower, highlighting a mismatch between human experience and algorithmic outputs. I hope you enjoyed our work. Thank you for your time.